From a very young age, I kind of knew it was possible. Just really fell in love with the way stories can make you feel. I feel like stories connect us all.
When you're in your own lane, there is no traffic. I love that.
I'm very blessed to be surrounded by people who love me unconditionally and have shown me that just because I've got diabetes doesn't make me unlovable or unworthy, which is something I struggled with a lot growing up.
Hi, I'm Cary, and welcome to the Eat Nourish Love Podcast. For over 20 years, I've created events, raised over 4 million for good causes, and been lucky enough to meet some incredible people along the way. This podcast is about exploring stories and insights that really shape us, with inspiring guests from wellness, business, self-care, and personal growth. It's about learning to trust our intuition and discovering what truly matters, and how, with hard work, belief, and tenacity, we can make so many things happen. So I'm so excited this morning to welcome Lucy Claire Dunbar, who is a UK-based illustrator and designer. I've watched this amazing girl for quite a few years now. And it's when she did the Paddington Bear and the Queen that came out, and it was so poignant and so incredible. And as it went along, you suddenly realised actually how talented she was, but also the stories she tells. And I think that we are in the era of storytelling and what's so important, particularly now on social media. And her drawings are inspirational. And she's also just published an incredible book, which we'll talk about. But welcome, Lucy. It's so nice to have you on here.
Hello, what an intro. Made me nervous.
Oh no, not at all, not at all. So let's start. What sparked your passion for art, and how did it evolve over time?
Gosh, so art is in my blood. My dad's an artist, my mum's creative. I'm one of 5 kids, and we're all in the creative industry. So we were just raised drawing, and it was kind of just a part of our lives. And I never realized how lucky I was to be surrounded by it and also be shown that art can be a career so young. So I know a lot of people doubt the fact that they can kind of make a full-on living from it, but from a very young age I kind of knew it was possible and just really fell in love with the way stories can make you feel and the way I feel like stories connect us all. So that's where the kind of like the spark, I guess, began from a very young age.
But if you think about it, how it used to be, people used to sit around, around a fire and tell stories, and it was a storyteller. And it's an art that actually a lot of people have lost, and it's incredible when you sit down with people who are able to really engage the storytelling. There's nothing better, is it? Now, listen, you've been through some pretty tricky times in your life as well. So, didn't you lose your sight at one point?
Yeah, turbulent is what my family like to call my life. But I've got type 1 diabetes and I've had it since I was 2.5.
Well,
So I've
that's
had it my whole
young.
life. Yeah, very young, and kind of didn't know anything. I don't know any different to having it, but I'm the only one in the family with it as well. So from a very young age, I dealt with this illness, and my mum helped. But as I got to my teenage years, I it basically your hormones and everything throw storms at you 24/7. So because of some complications due to the way my diabetes was in my younger teens, then at around 21, I think I lost my sight. Gradually, it happened gradually, but it got to the point where I could no longer sign my own letters. Right before my surgery, I could barely cross the road by myself. I remember thinking this was pretty dangerous, like I can't see the cars coming. um, and yeah, I didn't realize how bad it was because I dug my head in the sand, and being the kind of young adult, I guess, so you still kind of think you're invincible. I don't know. Yeah, dug my head in the ground until it was so far down, I had to get help. And yeah, lost my sight, which is crazy to say because I did continue to draw the entire time. Um, and I don't really know how that happened. But
So
I
were
think
you
because
drawing?
it's,
Were you drawing but you before that time? So you were drawing
yeah,
anyway. So it wasn't it
yeah.
wasn't
So
like,
I was, no, I was drawing my whole, really my whole life, and I'd gone to fashion, gone to fashion. I'd gone to art college and then gone on to study fashion graphics. So it was in my final year I actually lost, was when I was losing my sight. And managed to graduate and somehow I did it. But I think it's because, and people often ask how I did manage to draw when I lost my sight, but I think it's because it's a part of me. And um yeah, my dad always says that drawing's kind of from muscle memory and your body knows what it's doing. So again, I kind of think drawing was always a part of me so I could continue to do it without all of my vision. But it sounds crazy to say out loud.
so there's no type 1 diabetes in the family? There wasn't diabetes.
No, no. So I'm the only one. So again, that kind of lends a hand into. I felt very isolated with it, and through through my teens and everything I went through is kind of why I then have gone on this kind of path of helping to share self-love and kind of acceptance for who you are, because I think I struggled with it a lot growing up.
And you've got siblings, haven't you? You've got siblings. So and I think if I remember rightly in reading your book, is that you felt a bit different from them.
Yeah, I was, and not only sense that I had diabetes, which did, but I was just different to them. Like I loved reading. I was very shy when I was younger too. Um, so I just kind of felt like a bit like not an outcast. I don't know. Yeah, different from my family, and also like there was something a little bit wrong with me, which I hate to say now. I wouldn't ever say that. I just have diabetes. It's not a part of me. But yeah, it was a difficult childhood, I guess.
I, I think you can read that in your work and in what you do, because I think we talked about it earlier, didn't we, about chronic illness? And I know a few people who've got chronic illness, and actually, it's particularly when you're out there and you're on social media and it's hard enough when maybe you don't have a chronic illness, when the fact that you look at things, they compare them, when you compare yourself, you get this feeling and you don't quite know what it is, and then it's so easy just to keep it there and it's just led, or you actually sit with it and try and understand what it is that you're feeling and why you're feeling like that, and sit with it and use your intuition, because I think that it is so important, more so than ever, because we're so exposed. So with a chronic illness, and the comparison, and looking at people and people's lives out there, and people are sharing all their brilliant moments, and more people are sharing their difficult times. So how do you cope with the sort of chronic side of it?
I think the main thing I do, well, with diabetes and any chronic illness, everything affects you, your moods, your, yeah, your excitement levels, your stress levels, everything makes it go up and down. So really I try and keep my mental health in check, because that's the best way to keep my diabetes in check and make sure I'm looking after myself and doing the basic things like drinking enough water and eating a good meal. There's things that when your life gets busy, it's so easy to forget that you do need to prioritize yourself. And there's that saying, isn't there, that, oh, that saying, but you need to put your breathing mask on when you're on an airplane first before you help anyone else. And it's so true. You need to look after yourself first before you can look after anyone else, and not feel guilty when your chronic illness does get in the way of I don't know, maybe you have to go slower because it's acting up or you're going through a rough period. It's okay to slow down in those moments. And yeah, I'm very blessed to be surrounded by people who love me unconditionally and have shown me that just because I've got diabetes doesn't make me unlovable or unworthy, which is something I struggled with a lot growing up.
Did you really feel like that? Was that people, was it, do you reckon it was to help people talk to you or phrased it, or was it something entirely inside you?
I think it was something inside me. I'm a chronic people pleaser and perfectionist, and I'm the only one in the family with any health issues because I also have celiac disease. So,
Oh,
as one of five, I'm being the only one with any, and I'm going to use this word and I don't like to use it anymore, but imperfection is what I thought. I struggled a lot to understand why it had happened to me. What did I do to kind of deserve to have diabetes? Which was, it all went hand in hand with why I struggled so much in my teenage years and feeling different to other people. And yeah, I think we often question the cards we're dealt and think it's because we've done something or we deserve it, when really it's just life, and we
yeah.
can't stop life from happening to us. It's we just have to kind of change the way we view it. And so I feel like that sounds a bit like woo, but
So I just wanted to thank Maggie Wellness for sponsoring this podcast. I have always been really lucky with my hair. It's always been full and healthy. I've never really needed much help. But then I was lucky enough to try some of the products from Maggie Wellness. And I cannot tell you, my hair is so much fuller, shinier, and it's growing faster than ever. If you're dealing with thinning hair, breakage, or hair loss, their shampoo, conditioner, rejuvenating serum, and supplements are designed to nourish the scalp and support healthy hair growth. What I really love too is that there are no harsh chemicals. Maggie Wellness products are 100% vegan, cruelty-free and free from SLS, silicons, parabens, GMOs and PEGs, and they're all in beautiful, sustainable packaging. So if you want stronger, healthier hair, why not try some of Maggie Wellness products? And you can get 20% off, excluding bundles, with the code EAT20. If you go to the bottom of this podcast, you can see the code EAT20, and there's the link. So what's interesting is the fact that obviously you've used your art, haven't you, as it's been a great therapy for you. And then what were you doing before you actually drew the Queen and Paddington Bear? Because that's when things slightly changed. Well, changed dramatically.
so before that, I just graduated from uni and I was taking time out because of my health issues. I was taking time out for, I'd said, a year to figure out what I wanted to do, get my health back on track. So I started sharing my doodles on social media. Um, and then COVID happened, which is another huge part of the whole story. But because of that, I had so much time on my hands that I was just sketching and sharing on social media, and then began to gain a wonderful community around me who were so supportive, and I'm so grateful to the friends I made at the very beginning because I wouldn't be here without them. But I was just sharing every single day. And I made a promise to myself when I lost my sight and then got it back that I would draw as much as I can. And every time I go to bed, I wanted to feel like I'd made the most of the day and illustrated as much as
That's
possible.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, and I love capturing moments. Um, Another side effect of diabetes is it can affect your memory, and sections sections of my life I don't really have any recollection of because I was so unwell that I don't remember them. And it's made me so grateful now to have memories and be able to treasure them, which is again, another reason why I do try to capture these magic moments that happen in the world, like the Queen and Paddington, or paying tribute to someone who's passed and just being able to kind of say thank you for all that they've shown us and the magic they've shown us.
So you drew the Queen and Paddington Bear, and then you posted it, and then what happened?
It went crazy. I'd never seen. I remember going to bed. I think it maybe had 2,000 likes. And when I woke up in the morning, it had got to like 15,000, which at that time for me was un. I mean, it's a huge amount of people.
Huge, yeah.
Huge. And just, I remember my mum calling me, being like, Lucy, what's going on? And I just thought, well, actually, I was probably crying because I was overwhelmed. But it was just incredible to see what social media can do and how far and wide one message or one illustration can reach. And yeah, it kind of, and that's when I think I realized that you can, even in your small corner of the internet, you can bring so much joy to so many people, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So it
totally.
really, yeah, it's kind of did start it all, I guess.
So, Lucy, can you share a moment when you felt most proud, or a couple of moments when you felt most proud of the work that you've done in your career?
It's so hard to choose one, but it makes me emotional every time I talk about it. But it was having my dad at my book signing, and making my dad proud, and my mum and my whole family, because I felt I was a burden for a very long time. And I think also just finally telling a lot of our family, friends, and things what had happened, but also being able to help so many people with my story and what I'd been through. I still can't believe how many people have the book and have messaged me saying it's helped them, and it's just made everything that I went through. It's crazy.
I've got your book. Oh my goodness, I absolutely love it. I can by the way, I'm probably going to be told, I printed this one off and I have it in my office. It says, when you're in your own lane, there is no traffic. I love that. That's it. So anyway, but honestly, the messaging that you've written in here, I mean, just the illustrations, and there are so many of them. It is the most beautiful book, but it's the stories. You are very talented. And I always remember there was one, I don't know whether it's in here, there's one where you've got someone tying the pink bow around the egg.
Oh yes, the Easter.
I'm not sure whether that's in there, but
no, I don't think that was.
No, and there was another one, and my daughter-in-law actually is an illustrator. She's doing some illustrations as well, and that's why I just went, oh my goodness, have you seen Lucy's stuff? It's absolutely amazing. It is so. How did this book come about? How did the book because it's Penguin, isn't it?
Yes,
it's Penguin.
So
did they approach you?
At Penguin. Yeah, so they heard me on Radio 4, I think it was, Christmas 2023. And Dan, my editor, who is he's the best person in the world, but he's dropped a message into my inbox on Christmas Eve. And then I think I was in the Penguin offices on the 5th of January. And we basically hit go straight away. But they were so kind to me because they essentially said, we think you've got a story to tell and we'd love to help you do it. So they helped me stay true to myself whilst also creating a book.
So did you create all these illustrations for the book, or whether some of the ones that you'd done?
A few I'd already done, and they were the kind of starter points of what it turned out to be. But I knew I wanted to create something that would help people, and essentially created a book I wish I'd had when I was 16, feeling lost and alone. And if I can make someone feel like they're not alone, like that's the greatest gift the book can give me. and reminding everyone that you've got the strength in you to carry on. And I guess a huge part of it too is giving back to the community that have given so much to me and helped me realize that I'm enough as I am. So yeah.
And how long did it take, all in all, to produce the book?
I think we started in January and finished end of April.
Oh, that's quite quick.
So it was an intense turnaround, but equally, I think because it's a story that's part of me and something I've always, I guess, the story was in me all along. Well, it's not really a story, but the illustrations were in me all along. So it was really just a matter of, right, Lucy, you've got to put your heart on paper. And
Yeah.
I think that's what I did.
And will there be another one?
No, it's all very, hopefully there will be another book.
So there are so many people out there who are creatives and they love what they do, they're looking at being authentic, etc. But also they lack self-belief. What advice can you give those people out there who really, because obviously you've had it, but look at what you've achieved.
First of all, I still have it to this day. I don't want people to think. I think it's a normal part of being creative, but really just being true to yourself and taking that leap and putting yourself out there. Because as hard as it is, no one will find you if you don't share your work, which is something I actually, when I started my account, I didn't tell anyone about it. I didn't tell my family about it, my friends, because I was too shy. And it's okay to do that. Like, if you need to figure it out for yourself first and then tell everyone, that's also okay. But yeah, just taking that step and staying true to yourself. And I do truly believe that you'll find your path, and once you find your passion, you won't be able to stop. I'm like slightly addicted to it. I love it so much. But
do you know,
yeah.
it's really interesting, but often there are people out there who are they're better artists, sculptors, musicians, whatever, who are out there, but because they've never put themselves out there, no one knows who they are. And I think that's a really important, because actually, I think someone says, no one's coming. I think it's Mel Robbins. She's a great positivity. She's a great American. I think she's the top podcast, isn't she? Podcaster in the world now.
She's amazing.
And she just says, nobody's coming. Nobody's coming to show your work, etc. So it's really important that you do it yourself.
It's so true.
Lucy, I could talk to you for hours and hours. I think I'm definitely going to come and find you. I'm loving your book, and we'll let people know where to get that. But I'm a great believer in the power of three. I love to inspire, engage, and bring people together. Eat, Nourish, Love, and all that. So I'm going to ask you to share 3 questions to our listeners to reflect on about creativity, life, and anything you can think of that could encourage them to connect more deeply to themselves and their artistic talents.
Okay, first one, stay true to yourself. Second one, if you're trying to find your message you want to give the world, maybe what would you tell your 16-year-old self, or what would you have wanted to see when you were going through your challenging times? And then third, you've just got to start. Just do it. But you've just got to begin. And yeah, I promise you, if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Do you know, you just said, just do it. And someone once said, or I heard someone on a podcast saying, what was the most important word out of the just do it? And people think it's do it, and it's just, because it's the gap, it's before not doing something and doing something. And again, I go back to the Mel Robbins. It's a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out of bed and do the exercise, or get the pen out. Yeah. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for bringing your beautiful art to all of us, and sharing your story today. Where can people find you? Where can they buy your book from?
So you can find me on social media at Lucy Claire Illustration, Also on TikTok, but we're tentative on there. And also on Facebook, Lucy Claire Illustration. And then you can get the book from Amazon, Waterstones, and then all good bookstores.
Wow. Well done. Congratulations. I can't wait to
Oh, thank you
watch
so
the
much.
future of all that you do. And thank you for sharing your story today. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for having me.